Hello there and welcome to Shuttle Bay 4. We watched House of Quark.
Brush and I watched the episode together on Saturday when it was up in...
Yeah, it was so good to watch an
Doncaster.
episode with somebody.
I watched it, I finished it about 10 minutes ago.
That's usually what I do, to be fair.
Got home from work, went, oh, is that the time? Started the episode, and it just finished.
Where do you work?
I'm a team leader at the co-op.
Oh, nice one. Any jobs going? Literally, at 1:30 today, I had a call and I was made redundant, which is why I've had a crap day
Are
today.
you serious?
Genuinely, yeah.
Oh,
Honestly,
sorry.
it's only just starting to hit me, just the impact of it. And honestly, yeah, I'm a bit gutted.
That's awful. I'm so sorry. I won't go on about it. But if you don't feel like this tonight, don't think you got to.
I wasn't. I said to Deborah, I said, I don't think I can do it. But I said, I'm going to do it. I might not be on for very long.
Okay.
But my head's just everywhere at the minute. Right. So, Steve.
Yes.
Just to introduce you to, this is Christian. So, here we go. Emma's on as well.
And by the way, Emma, your hair looks amazing.
It does look amazing, yeah.
Thank you. And it needed a good quarter, but I've been likened to Edna from The Incredibles. Jonah came out with it. Jonah, who was my favourite child, now he's gone to the back of the list and he's been written out of the will, saying I look like Edna.
What are you talking about?
When you said you look like Edna, I thought you meant from Will-O the Wisp. Evil Edna.
I haven't even seen Willow.
Just in case you're wondering who this unfamiliar face is, Christian is on. We recruited him kind of from MCon. I'm going to have to say all this again now because Jed's joined as well.
It was his birthday.
Oh, yes. Was it yesterday? Was it your birthday yesterday, Jed?
Happy birthday, old man.
Happy birthday. Oh, Chris is on. Hey, we've got quite a full house tonight. Right, Chris, I'm going to do a brief introduction of Christian. So, me and Brush, and obviously Penfold, who lives in Nottingham, we were at MCon this weekend. There was a guy I saw walking around dressed in Lower Decks costume, going full Boimler. And
Oh, did you? I didn't see them. Where were they?
I said to
Could have
Brush,
stopped them for photo.
I kept flashing the old Vulcan salute, but he didn't see me, so I tapped him on the shoulder. And that person is Christian, who's on our call today. So, yeah, I didn't force him on.
No pressure at all, but we've got this group going. There's no pressure, but you can join us if you want. No pressure.
Christian, Brush told me off because after I spoke to you, Brush said, you kept saying to him, there's no pressure, but we've got this group. And because I kept saying no pressure, it did sound like I was pressuring you into it, but I promise you I wasn't. I don't know if Patches is joining tonight. I've not seen the chat.
I know John said he'd be on about 1:30, but
okay. Well, just for the benefit of Christian, there's a guy who usually joins us called Patches. He's one of the core members of the group. And when he talks, he really, really talks. So the fact that he's not joining for half an hour gives us a chance to give our comments first. No, it's great, Patches. He is great. Right. So, well, let's just start then. So, House of Quark, however you want to say it, was the episode that we watched this week. So my summary of this one is, after slaying a Klingon in a brave fight, except it wasn't a brave fight, a drunk Klingon called Kozak fell onto his own knife, Quark finds himself married to the widowed Klingon female, where he uses his Ferengi charm and guile to salvage the House of Kozak from collapse. And there you go, that's the episode in a nutshell. Who wants to go first on this episode?
I'll go first. I did lots of notes on this one.
Go on then, Rashid. Oh, by the way, Chris, just for the benefit of Christian, Rashid is the nicest person in the world. He never has anything negative to say anything about anything. As opposed to Steve, when he comes to us, we've got a running joke that he hates Star Trek. So he never seems to enjoy what we've watched. But I think you might enjoy this episode.
I have actually met Rashid. We met in Germany. Didn't know he was part of your group, though.
Oh, nice one. Hey, you've already had the pleasure of Rashid.
See, Dan just invites me to the group. He doesn't offer me pizza.
I can't now. I've got no job. Right, go on then, Rashid. Fire away. Go for it.
Such a brilliant, fun episode. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Throughout the whole episode, I was laughing my head off. It's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, right from the beginning to the end, it's like, it's just so good. It's so good. I mean, like the first thing when he says, when Quark says to Ron, rule acquisition 286, when Morn leaves, it's all over. Brilliant. That's really funny.
When Morn leaves, it's all over.
And obviously we hear the Klingon in the background, Kozak, drunk, wants to drink, wants another drink. And Robert says, yes, at least we got one customer. And obviously, as soon as he wants credit, Quark says, what? We don't give anyone any credit, do we? Like, no way. Watch and learn. This is how
I'll handle it. Watch and learn.
And he slams the cup on the table twice, like in an arrogant way. And the way Kozak responds, we get really angry. You dare insult Klingon like that?
You dare talk to me like that?
And pulls out his knife. And seeing Quark's face was funny. He said, I came to arrange a line of credits, don't get angry with me. Like, just still. And the way they fall over was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, the way Kozak was killed with his own knife, basically. And Rob said, I wish you could remove the body. And Quark says, I wish I could put it up on display. It's like, it's there. Because when's the last time we saw such customers desperate to come into the Quarks? It's like brilliant. I love it. I'm loving this. He said to Rom, tell everyone I'd killed in self-defense. And Rom said, as soon as Oda says, right, Quark, what happened?
All right, Quark. Start at the beginning.
My brother fought in hand-to-hand battle with a Klingon. He was forced to kill him, basically. And Oda says, you killed him?
You killed him.
It's like Oda's voice is brilliant. It's like the way he said that, basically.
I couldn't avoid it.
And the way Quark explained the way he killed him, so funny.
With a left jab. It was a furious exchange of blows. The next thing I knew, his knife was at my throat.
And Dr. Bashir's face throughout the whole thing was brilliant. If you watch Dr. Bashir's face, it's absolutely brilliant. He's just talking rubbish. He's talking rubbish, but still. It's absolutely brilliant to see. And when Grilka comes in, oh my goodness, that is such a great scene when Grilka comes into Quarks. I believe you're the ones who killed my husband.
You are the one who killed my husband.
And since she pulls out a knife, defend yourself. And the way Quark falls over the bar was absolutely hilarious. And he obviously tells Grilka the truth. And the way Grilka says, basically, she lied to the security chief, to all the customers entered to go, you must be a great liar.
You must be quite a liar.
And the way Quark says, it's a gift. That was absolutely brilliant, It's so funny.
It's a gift.
Well, you can use this gift to help me now. And takes him to Kronos, basically. The Bractal ritual, I mean, it's like so twisted. Like the wife of the deceased can invite the person that killed her husband to take over the house and become his wife. What kind of twisted ritual is that? What the hell? You are now husband and wife, and Quark's face is like, wow, it's classic.
Enter, husband!
And it's just
he looked really good in his Klingon jacket.
You know what? He really did, Brush.
Really suited him,
Grilka says at the end, how can I repay you?
How can I repay you?
You give me my house, my family name. And Quark says, I love a divorce, please. That was brilliant. I love a divorce, please. First.
I would like a divorce, please. No offense.
And how good was the divorce? Oh, my God. Absolutely brilliant.
You're a free man.
A little warning would have been nice.
But I thought Quark came out at the end really well. Doesn't matter how good he is, there is goodness in him. Keiko's a botanist. In the end, agreed to let Keiko go as a botanist, which I thought was quite nice, making sure his wife's happy. So I thought that was a nice ending to that story as well. But overall...
Rashid. Well, right. Me and Brush watched this episode together, and we had to rewind a particular bit because it was so funny, and I've got it here. So you're talking about Miles and Keiko O'Brien talking. So just to set the scene, obviously, there's no kids on. She's a teacher, right, in Deep Space Nine, but there's no kids there now because of everything that's happening. So she's bored, and like you say, this opportunity to pursue her passion of botany arises, and O'Brien encourages her to go for it, and she says to him, I can't leave you and Molly for 6 months. At which stage you're expecting him to turn around and say, oh, don't worry about it, we'll be fine. You can video chat on a night time, so you'll still have a presence or something like that. But that's not what happened. She says, I can't leave you and Molly for 6 months. And he goes, you can take Molly with you. You'll manage. I know. It was brilliant. To be fair,
in the mountains, no technology, nothing that could help you look after a young child.
Yeah, take her with you. You'll manage. You'll be all right. But then, at least he kind of pulls it back a bit because he does say that she will be, the best botanist in the galaxy or something like that. But that bit really made me laugh. Miles' own reaction to that. I'll take her with you.
Letting Keiko go to be a botanist was good. I thought it was a good ending for them as well.
Yeah.
But overall, the episode, really enjoyed it. Laughed so much watching it again. And great choice. Whoever made the choice, great choice. That's it. Rushing done. Over and out.
Yeah. Who picked it?
Well done. I can't remember.
I can't remember who picked it. You made a comment there, actually, Rashid. I was thinking about this last night because you said that Quark, I can't even read the comment I've just put, but I think he said he changed kind of your perception of Ferengi. But I think Deep Space Nine did that well because, I mean, Patches will no doubt mention this when he joins, that originally they were savage, not particularly intelligent, and he always says they were kind of like stooped over and animalistic. But Deep Space Nine really does rewrite Ferengi.
Well, actually, because Armin Shimmerman plays one of the original Ferengis, doesn't he? And he said I've always regretted how Ferengis were. So he said when he came to Deep Space Nine and was given the role, he purposely tried his best to turn that around, make Ferengis into something different, because originally they were awful.
Because Quark comes across as very intelligent in this episode. I mean, he looks through the books and everything. He is brave. But as well as that, I know obviously this isn't a Nog and Rom episode, but we've mentioned before that Rom is basically an engineering genius, and that's Rom. And Nog is one of the most hard work. He puts effort in, and he really does see the reward. They are quite a gifted alien species. You know what I mean? And I think we only start to see that potential in Deep Space Nine. And I think they did right a wrong by rewriting the Ferengi as this species who are probably held back by this capitalist ideology that seems to hold them back. But when they're freed from that, they can really thrive.
So, very first scene you get in this episode was Morn leaving with a lady, and he gives that little fist bump, that little air fist bump. Get in, yeah, you know it. Respect. We've all done it. Yeah. See you later. I'm checking out.
I've got the same comment because he turns around and he gives like that. And it's that same scene's repeated later on, isn't it, with different characters? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. Sorry.
And why the hell not? Quark, when he said, I should have gone into insurance. You know what he should have? My car insurance is bloody extortionate. He would have done really well in that sector.
I should have gone into insurance.
Quark's story, while he was telling his story, he put so much effort into it. He properly hyped it up. He was animative. Everything was going on. You know what? I haven't seen that much effort in a story since I saw Judi Dench do A Dog So Small, Jack and Ori in 1978. I mean, just on it. Absolutely on it.
Well, was it better than Rick Mayall and his George's Marvelous Medicine?
Nobody had ever made a medicine like that before.
Not even close. When Miles first comes into his quarters and he's telling Keiko about his day, and you can just tell she's there, trimming her bush, thinking, well, I ain't getting any again tonight, then am I? Oh, you've had a hard day. Have you go and have a sleep, will you? Yeah, don't worry. I've got a toy that can help you. You just crack on, mate. I'll just go without again. I'll just sit here trimming my bush. Miles asked Cisco. He said, can I have a work area to turn into an arboretum? And Cisco, he didn't even flinch, did he? Of course you can. You help yourself. Now, I've got a manager called
Andrew.
Right? Now, if I'd have gone to my manager
Andrew
and I'd have said, excuse me,
Andrew,
can I have a work area for my other half so she can turn it into a straight away? But no, mate, no. We might need that area later on, you know what I mean?
I'd like permission to convert one of the empty cargo bays into an arboretum.
Hope you don't watch this.
I'll beep his name out.
Now.
I'll say I'll dub over when you say I'll dub over it with a different name. Andrew.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh yes, I give you Gowron, the Supreme Chancellor, leader of the Klingon Empire, settling an estate dispute in a glorified divorce court. I'm just like, what the hell is he doing there? Is this not a bit beneath him? When Quark went into the chamber and he said, I am Quark, son of whoever it was. And then he says, challenge Kozak, son of... I thought what was coming, I thought it would have been better, and Kozak, son of a bitch, would have been a lot better. And I was waiting for it. It never came. And just before I go, and I don't think she's about anymore, but I just want to say congratulations to Emma, but I don't know if she's there, not there. There she is. Congratulations, sweetheart. Welcome home. Okay, with that, peoples, I am going.
Good to see you, Chris. Take care.
See you later, Chris. Live long and
See you later,
prosper.
mate.
Look after yourself.
Christian, nice to meet you, mate. Welcome aboard.
Oh, by the way, Christian, Emma just got married. That's what the congratulations is about. It's probably thinking, what is it? Has she had a baby? Has she just got a new house?
I thought it was just she logged in.
I mean,
boob job.
And we had a lovely time. It was very, very good. And we are already planning for 2026 to do a road trip along Route 66, which incorporates Star Trek Las Vegas for the 60th anniversary. That is the plan.
Lovely.
Go on then, Brush.
I got to get in before you because we've got exactly the same notes, I think.
Yeah, well, my notes are all over the shop, so I think everyone will cover my stuff.
Mine are, I have written mine, like they are all over the shop, and you probably would have said some of them, but I'll go anyway. So the first thing I noted, like Chris did, was Morn pulled a woman. Big thumbs up. And that was quite cool, actually, because it's the first time you've seen it. And also Rashid has mentioned, and I noted it, the new acquisition, 286. When Morn leaves, that's the end. Oh my God, everything is going to shit. Morn is leaving because Morn is, he's got his own seat and he only leaves the bar when it closes and they have to check him out. And Quark's business is failing because of the Dominion War, not getting any customers. Klingon asks for credit, gets killed accidentally, and Quark capitalizes on that, which is typical Quark. So as much as we've said, Ferengis are evolved and more evolved than we are, the core of them is always Latinum, you know what I mean? So I still think that comes across still. The core of the Ferengi is always going to be profit. So that I don't think they ever get past that, which is fine because it's part of their culture. They just work it into them still being, Quark can be quite enlightened on occasion. Odo had his belt on. Did anybody notice? Odo had a belt on. So he doesn't always wear his belt. I think in this season he has it and then it disappears again. And because he asks Major Kira at one point, and do you prefer me with the belt or without? And then does whatever she says as usual.
It does look good though. I think his uniform really
does,
looks
I
better
actually
with
prefer
it,
the belt. I do prefer the belt. And did anyone else notice? Because when I pointed out, Dan said it does. Odo's face looked really different.
Yeah.
And it was just different. It was like, what is that makeup? Why do you look different all of a sudden? Unless he had like a big lump on his chin and they couldn't cover it or something. Quark crowd pleasing. Again, that's typical Quark. It's a perfect role for Quark, that is, and him over exaggerating everything again, coming from the point of profit. You know what I mean? It's only about him entertaining the crowd, so he's getting his customers back, which is why he wanted to display the body. I wondered if he was going to desecrate it and sell it off like they do with the Ferengis, but obviously he wouldn't be allowed to do that. And I picked up as well Rashid, so similar things, but Bashir's face was hysterical. Bashir, all through it, Bashir was just like,
oh, brilliant.
It was awesome, yeah. So I picked up on that massively. So I mentioned Dominion tensions on the station are affecting first Quark's business, then obviously Keiko's school comes into it, and we realize all the Bajorans are leaving the station. So I think that's the first mention we get of that, when we understand, okay, the station is empty and Bajorans are afraid. Quark, slayer of Klingons. I thought that was just worth saying.
Quark, slayer of Klingons.
Right, there's a couple of times when Quark does this, and again, it's his comedic acting that's so good. Somebody's like, kapla, and he just goes, and then he does it really late on in the episode, where everybody's just like, yeah. I don't need any of that, thanks.
Kapla, Quark.
Kapla to you too.
So Dan said this, and actually I've heard a lot of people say this. Grilka apparently is the most attractive Klingon female for a lot of people, which I didn't pick up on. And then another thing I noticed, did anyone else notice? Grilka's teeth kept changing all through the episode. Originally they were white, then they had big stains on them, and then later on they were white again, and I just noticed that straight away.
I didn't notice that. You pointed that out when we were watching it. And
it was because we had to look at him, and it was happening all through.
Yeah.
Torek. So Torek, the Klingon, I've never seen a Klingon with a weaker forehead. It was like a Bajoran nose on his forehead. It was really weird. He had like 3 little lumps that stuck out separately, and it was a very strange Klingon forehead, I thought. So again, linking it with Odo's face.
Did you see the original series' foreheads? Don't go calling his
no, come on, that was
when
the 60s.
they are in canon.
Come on, that was the 60s, and we don't talk about that. Okay, we don't talk about that.
Not with outsiders.
We do not discuss it with outsiders.
Okay, that scene is awesome when she kisses him and immediately spits. What was nice was because what Quark had done for her and her family house obviously was amazing and meant she could be in charge of the family house, even though she was female. They kissed afterwards, but she didn't spit. So I thought, oh, there you go. You have got a bit of respect of her. Yeah, the scene where Chief talks to Cisco in the office, but Jadzia and Kira are already in there. I thought that was really good as well, because you've got Jadzia with all these lifetimes of experience, totally understanding what's going on. And Kira, being Kira, like she is just like, yeah, okay, just sitting there like, yeah, okay. And then Captain Sisko has to say, out, get out. And
Wife problems, Chief?
How did you know?
Just Jadzia. Is that where Jadzia says something like, I've been a husband and I've been a wife, or something like that? Yeah, it's a good scene there.
I think she says that a couple of times throughout the series, but yeah. Scheming and plotting like a fuck, she says, a fuck, and then stops. Like, you may as well say it. It's true, you may as well. So he says it for her.
Scheming and plotting like a Ferengi.
I'm trying to explain finances to the Klingons. Again, they're all sat there, and the confusion on their face, and then the irritation comes across, and they're like, what the fuck is not there? And yeah, Gowron wasn't happy with that. I've put Rom's physical, again, his comedic physical acting is so funny. How he runs so quickly, when he's like hunched over. So I think that's why him and Quark are so good together. And I know that they used to, when they had an episode, they actually go to Armin Shimmerman's house, and they would rehearse it because that's what they're good at. It's about body language and getting the timing right. So I think that worked really well. In the episode, like Quark has actually stated, most Ferengi episodes, it is true, they're always the butt of the joke. It's very rare that those characters are given anything that they can make something out of. So he's got respect here. He was really brave to go back and face him and all that. So I thought for the character, it did show quite a few different facets. Take the child. Basically, that's what I wrote about that scene. Take the child. Oh, yeah, but I can't leave Molly with him. Take the child. Or it was a bit more like, well, of course you're not going to leave her with me. You're going to take her. I'm not having her. It was totally that. You said it differently, but that was totally what I got.
Miles wants 6 months of peace, doesn't it? That's what it's after.
Yeah, but actually, I got something to say about that later.
I can't leave you and Molly for 6 months.
You can take Molly with you. I've already checked.
Right, let's go. Oh, wait. So Rom and Quark's relationship. Again, this adds a facet to that relationship. So you can tell Rom is just like, do what you need to. I'm going to get the bar. But also later on, there is that, they are close as brothers. And you can tell their family and they do care about each other. Let me go to Chief O'Brien and Keiko. What a fucking boring B story. So fucking boring. Keiko's feeling really unfulfilled. Woe is you. Oh, God, go on. Like, she didn't even try to do anything herself, though. Take the child. Sorry. No, I think that was it. I think that was it about that story, because it was quite boring. I guess what it did do was allow us to realize that the Dominion War is affecting the station that much. I guess it brought that into context, which is appreciated because that leads into future episodes. We do know that in future episodes that becomes more prevalent. So I guess it's just a link into that. Overall, I thought the episode was amazing. I know I like it, but I haven't watched it for a long time. I'm watching it again, and maybe especially watching it with somebody else. It was so funny. It was so funny. I thought it was really well acted, really good story. So a really good episode of Deep Space Nine for me.
What else was I going to say? I haven't really got that many notes for this. I did make some notes, but because I've not reorganized them, I'm just trying to think if I've got anything additional to what you've said, but I don't think I've got a lot. I've got, again, the first comment I've got is the same as most people, that great moment where Morn gives the thumbs up on his way out.
It's really
it is good, yeah. Klingon blood, right? This always winds me up. Purple or red? What is it, purple or red? Because it was...
You said it, though. It's only in the one film they show purple, though.
And then it's always red after that.
Depends how drunk they are.
To me, it should be purple. Depends how drunk they are. Well, he was pretty drunk, this one.
I was expecting someone to dip their hands in that blood by the dagger and go, this is not Klingon blood.
Yeah. But I always think it's a shame that we establish is it Star Trek 6? It's purple. And then with that great CGI
made such a
as well.
point of it, because that's a big part of the film. The CGI was special and is floating in the air. So, yeah, they made the rod for their own back. But I don't know, actually, canon-wise, if it's written that Klingon blood is purple. But
I think the whole reason why it's purple in the film was so it didn't get a higher.
I think it was puce
certificate.
as well. It wasn't purple; it was puce.
Oh, that's. But you know what I mean. I think it's because in the film, it would have got a higher rating if it was red, because it was purple. It's not, so I think that's why they went for purple. But they should have stuck with it. Oh, I've got the comment, same as you, Brush, about Odo's face. It really did look different. It was difficult to tell what was different.
The shape of it, and the chin was really, really big. I don't know what it was.
It got me thinking it's a shame that didn't happen more often, because it's a shapeshifter. He could have experimented a bit more. We could have had a few different shapes, but, we never got that. The kissing and spitting was just brilliant. And the fact that links to the end where she kisses him, and once he wins her respect. And, I think there is a bit of genuine attraction there from her. Speaking of attraction, I did mention, me and Brush were watching it, I don't want to be superficial. I don't like talking about so-and-so's attractive and so-and-so isn't, because that's not really the sort of person I am. But I do remember watching this when I was younger, and I remember thinking, oh, wow, she is, really attractive Klingon. And I think a lot of people think that. When you Google it, there's a lot of comments about that. And like I said, I don't want to be superficial, but there is something quite alluring.
Well, I'll be superficial, because Lursa and Beto, one of them was attractive, one of them was minging.
I think both of them are attractive. But I think there is something about...
I like them both.
She's got one of the best lines in there as well, where she says, I'm going to let you take your hand off my thigh rather than break every bone in your body.
I'm going to let you take your hand off my thigh instead of shattering every bone in your body.
But during that scene, she said that the crew kept laughing so much they had to do that over and over and over again because the crew kept laughing off that.
All right. Well, that's an oh my, surely.
Oh,
which would
my.
make sense because her laugh, like Quark's laugh, seems really natural at the end. Like it's almost like it's unscripted when he starts laughing.
Yeah.
I think that probably is.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I love insights like that, but that may well be why.
Let's go talk to the council.
Beret Ferengi, Quark wins Gowron. Oh yeah, Quark refers to him as a brave Ferengi, and it's nice to see Quark win them over.
A brave Ferengi.
And then the next comments I've got are that, I can't leave you and Molly for 6 months. You can take Molly with you. You can manage. Really, really made me laugh. And I do think, I can't remember what it is, but I've got a comment here about a touching moment between Rom and Quark at the end. I can't remember what it was, but at the time, I clearly thought it was a touching moment.
But I can't remember exactly what it is.
The entire end section where he asks him to repeat the story, and he's like, no.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That is it. Thank you, John Joe, for remembering that. There's only one bit of this I didn't really like, and that is when Quark is embellishing his story, the crowd are all going like, it's really overacting, and it's like, in theatre that would work well, but on TV they're like going, and nobody reacts like that to a story. Nobody. So I didn't like that bit, but the rest of it I actually thought, do you know what, it's one of those episodes I don't really think of it as a standout episode, but watching it was, and it was standout for all the right reasons. So I really, really enjoyed the episode, and that's all I got to say about that. I don't want to put Christian on the spot, but he has just watched it and he is brand new to the group. Patches, Christian.
No pressure. I'll be your next.
I've said this about 10 times now, but Patches, don't start talking. All right, go on. Oh, nice one. Yeah, we're gonna have. We've got an extra guest. Go on then.
We've got an extra guest. Right?
Oh yeah, a little guest.
So, what did you think of the episode that you watched? Was it creepy to start with, and then it got more? What did you say? It got more natural.
That he wanted was to get divorced to that girl.
He didn't.
He could have just made a different wish, was like.
Mia didn't like the fact that all Quark wanted was to get divorced. She didn't like that.
He could have wished for other stuff.
Acting on my own then, and under no pressure at all. So yeah, no, it was a good episode. I was saying to Dan at the very beginning, I literally finished the episode like 5 minutes before this call began. Now, one of the things I do is I have quite a good memory, and so I don't tend to rewatch things because I don't find it fun when I know what's going to happen. And so the only way I really rewatch stuff is if it's been like 5 to 10 years and I'm genuinely starting to forget it. So this is like the only episode of Star Trek that I have actually rewatched. The rest I've seen once, but I thought, no, I need to actually know which episode they're talking about. So I rewatched it today, and it's interesting. This is more just the fact of rewatching than the episode itself, but I always watch things in order. I understand that the way, especially the earlier Star Treks were made, you didn't have to watch them in order. But I always have. So to be plonked in of the middle of the series and go, so where exactly am I? It took a while to get used to, but it was nice in a way because I didn't fully remember the episode. As people have said, it's quite a nice episode to watch, but it's not one that stands out, you know? If someone asks you, oh, what's your favorite Deep Space Nine episode? I don't think anyone's going to this one, but it is still a very good episode. The ritual, Rashid mentioned the ritual, I can't remember the name, of how with the Kling.
The Brektor ritual.
Yeah.
Your memory's not that good, is it? You just watched it 5 minutes ago.
You rattled brushy cage.
The Brektor ritual, it is a bit unusual, and I guess not to that extent, but I can see where they've got the idea from, because it's definitely been something that's happened in England before now. Like one specific example off the top of my head was Henry VIII's first wife, Anne of Cleves, was remarried to him after she was shipped over to marry his brother, but his brother died, so she was just passed on. So that sort of idea, obviously it wasn't Henry that killed his brother, but the idea of women just being passed around with the family is something that has happened in history. But no, it was an interesting episode, and I like to see, I was watching Quark a lot. I did like to see his behaviors, as quite a few people have said now. The difference compared to this episode building the Ferengi up to be like, fine, it started out as a deception, but then he used his insane maths ability for good, ? And it was nice to see that character development, that, you know, not everything's black and white. I can use these skills that I might have for the wrong reasons, but they could do something nice, which was nice to see. And although everyone seems to be hating on the subplot between Miles and Keiko, I actually really liked it.
I think it was only me.
I just I found it like wholesome, and it was a nice break, and it's like, especially if you consider when Deep Space Nine was released, it's like, oh my god, a husband actually cares about his wife's feelings. I didn't know they knew how to do that.
He was a good husband, yeah.
I do love Colm as an actor, so I'll never complain when his scenes come on. But yeah,
he's the everyman. He's got almost like that nuclear family. He's got a wife with those normal familial struggles, you know, and he's knackered from work, but his missus is still upset, and he's still got to, and he does that. Was it the best? I'm married to the best wife in the universe day.
Best botanist.
Yeah, and and you know, it's an irregular holiday, and it comes, and she's making the effort, and even though he did his best, as he's leaving, she's like, back to, and you could tell that she didn't want him to go. She really didn't want him to go. And if you're a lucky man, you have that kind of thing where you're dragging yourself out the door, and the missus is like, oh, I don't want you to go today. And I love that. I love that. So yeah, O'Brien, he gets that everyman quality, I think.
Do you two, can you two get any more cute? Jesus.
Oh, what's happening?
Jed and Dee staring at each other and smiling through the cameras. They were all saying that. That was.
Well, they're on page 2. I can't see them because we got so many people.
You need to stop being so bloody cute.
In terms of like just on about Keiko and O'Brien, one of the things that I think about watching this is some of the attitudes towards, say, women. Well, at least with Keiko and O'Brien, that kind of works well because he has got concern for his wife, and she becomes, you know, it's about her independence. She gets to go off and do something. Although she does have to take the child with her, which is a bit odd. And you do have Grilka, who is a strong female character, but as well as that, you do have this rule of kind of primogeniture that the Klingons have, where it's, you know, they need a male heir. But in a way, it kind of gets away with that because we're looking at that as an alien concept. You know, this is a society that does that, whereas we don't have that as humans. And I just thought that was quite
well. Some cultures still have something similar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, some cultures do still have that. You know. But
what's her name?
Pretty sure that's covered in TNG. I think it's in the Kayla episode. I can't remember. I've watched that about 10 times because that's what Francesca likes dressing up as, because she wears cool stuff, even though she's in it for 2 episodes. But she says, you know, Picard says, how do you cope with that? And she says, oh, it's like a lot of things. It's just, you know, it's just cultural and historic. No one actually pays full attention to it. And if anybody crosses me, I'll kill them, sort of thing, which I thought was, you know, That's
Yeah.
like
Well,
a
we've
lot
had
of
two
them.
examples as well where women have taken over houses. You know what I mean? The Lursa and Bator did it, and then we've seen Grilka do it. So.
Yeah.
But Dee's cat staring at her. It's really bizarre. He's just like doing that, staring at her.
Yeah, what you doing?
Wait, where's Jed? Where is he? Where's Daddy? Right, so-
Oh, don't ever say that again. Oh my God.
Where's Daddy?
Did you say that when Brush was over as well? Did you have one of those evenings? Wake up in the middle of the night. Where's Daddy?
Steve, while you're talking, do you want to go next? Did you like it?
I don't know if we should, from now on, should start like having a little vote as to who thinks I'll like it before I actually give my.
I think you did like
I
it.
think you did.
I
think you don't. No, you didn't like it. You didn't like it.
Penfold, you suck. I wasn't a fan of the whole Keiko O'Brien filler bullshit. It looks like they just brought them in and gave them a marital problem just to plug the fucking gaps.
There was a reason.
The whole Quark and Grilka thing, loved it. I love the fact that later on, throughout the series, she comes back again. I thought that, which obviously when you watch it the first time, you don't know that that's going to happen. But then
that's a really good episode as well because there's Quark and Worf in it, and she's in love with Quark, but and Jadzia as well is involved in that. It's a really.
I was
good
just say that's when Worf and Jadzia get together, isn't it?
Worf wants Grilka, and he's that madly obsessed with Grilka.
Yeah. I think the episode overall was good. It was a nice blend of Quark and his scheming, and the Klingons and their honor, and the way that the two blended together to achieve the end result was good. Yeah, I liked the whole relationship between the two. Thought it was funny. It was interesting. Yeah, good episode. Don't mind watching that one. That's not one I necessarily skip. So,
2 for 2. 2 for 2. I'm amazed.
Tune in next week to make it 3 for 3.
Depends what episode we do.
What I think about this primarily is I found the Star Trek moral, quite hard to find. It's a great episode, but it's not that moral fabric type.
To be fair though, it doesn't involve Starfleet really, does it?
No. So I think everyone should play to their strengths. Really, that's what I got from the end of it. But I couldn't make notes. I had to watch it and enjoy it. And it's nice listening to everyone's critique actually. So I'm gonna leave mine there completely because.
Fuck me! Are you serious?
I just couldn't. The moral.
Blink 3 times if you're in distress, Patches.
It's wait a minute. We've already explained to Christian. He's new to the group. His first time. We've already explained to him when he starts talking, he talks a lot. And now you're just disproving us.
Yeah, and on that note, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
He's done that on purpose, Christian. He's done that on purpose.
So what I'm hearing is if I turn up, he won't dock.
Oh, great!
What a joke. We love what Patches says. Patches, to be fair, Patches is normally very, very insightful. And that was actually a really good point, actually, you did there. Because normally there is that kind of like moral of the week, or there's some sort of like ethical discussion you can have. And that doesn't really happen with this episode. But it's such an entertaining episode. That completely passed me by. So, yeah, I'm glad that got pointed out.
I mean, I know I've seen the episode, but with the intro in Quark's bar, I thought, okay, we're in for something different. The opening scene where Martin pulled, I thought, oh, my God. You know what I mean? There is some cosmic interplay here for him to have pulled.
I don't want to.
And it's only quarter to 9.
I do not. I tell you what, I do not want to watch more than his cosmic interplay.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's what I mean. It was only quarter to 9. It was early evening. I mean, I don't know what night it was. If it was a Friday or a Saturday, or if it's a Wednesday. If it was a Wednesday, fair enough. But if it's a Friday or Saturday, the bar was empty by quarter.
Yeah, they explained that because of the Dominion War, people had left the station.
They'd forgotten all about that. So they mentioned
it was half the episode, D.
But what it wasn't so much bothered about with at the beginning, because I was like, I thought the Dominion War was season 4 onwards, which is what confused me.
I thought it was later as well, actually.
Well, they'd already met the Dominion, hadn't they? And then they went in the search. They went to try and find them, and there was like fighting. So it was already starting.
Yeah, first contact with the Dominion had been made, and it was the result of that was hostility, not a peaceful first contact. There was threats made. Everyone took it seriously, I think.
They sent the founders, didn't they, that were actually the voter.
And when he's doing his interview for Modo and he's dramatising it all that, when he walks off at the end, I thought he did a little flounce. And then I realised that's Quark's walk. And that's how he walks. Like a little flouncy thing. I've never noticed that bit before, but yeah. I thought he was just doing it because
every
he's
scene like Liberace.
But yes, he's got a little flouncy walk.
Yeah.
What's the woman? What's the drag queen that can't walk? He walks better than she does. What's her name?
Yeah.
Buffy Kendall.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know if I want to talk about the B plot. Yeah, I thought Grilka was hot. I thought she was very fit Klingon as well. I thought she was very good looking. And that Klingon too, Meg. I don't know who played him, but that voice got me. It sounded so familiar.
You are on Kronos.
Yeah.
So familiar.
The guy with the longish hair that's like.
He had grey hair, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I did as well. That's interesting you say that.
No, I swear to God, I know that voice from somewhere. It really sounded familiar.
Hopefully it'll be in Brush's or mine. No pressure.
And then it clicked to the Starfleet lot and them talking and everything. And I'm thinking, oh, they're just talking like Starfleet-y stuff. And I'm thinking, so no panic then. Nobody's gone, where's Quark? Why is he not in the bar? Why is he not? Has nobody noticed he's been bloody kidnapped by the bloody Klingons? Has no one given it off?
That was my main takeaway, D, as
Do you
well.
know what I mean? They were just like,
rescue missions for everybody else.
O'Brien's wife's in a right fucking mood. Oh, we'll talk about that then.
They go to Kronos in another episode, and they say it takes like 5 days to get there.
Yeah,
so Quark's gone missing for 5 days. No one cares.
No one says a squat about him not even being there. No, it's just like, oh, we've done this and we've done that and how's this going? Oh, hello, Chief. What's going on with you? Oh, you don't look very happy. What's up? Oh, is the wife upset? Oh, dear. Do you know what I mean? I just thought that was a bit odd. And then when he come in to talk to him, and Dax and Kira and Dax is explaining to him, I thought Dax would have been more perfect than Cisco to talk to him about women's troubles.
Also, Dax can't give him the empty cargo bay, but Cisco can, and that's what he's after.
He didn't go to him for advice. He went to him saying, "Hey, can I have a cargo bay?"
Yeah.
You asked about Tumek. I have quickly Googled it. He is played by a Joseph Ruskin.
If Joseph Ruskin seems familiar, it's because he's been in loads of Trek. His roles include a Klingon, obviously, a Vulcan, a Cardassian and a Suliban. He's been in DS9, Voyager, Enterprise and Star Trek Insurrection, but his most famous Star Trek role is probably Galt in the TOS episode, The Gamesters of Triskelion.
Brush is a massive fan of the TV series Murder, She Wrote, which I remember because my mum used to watch it all the time. And loads and loads of Star Trek actors have appeared in Murder, She Wrote. So when we talk about an episode and an actor's been in Murder, She Wrote, Brush always mentions it. And I think he's probably got one for this one.
You've already made the link, but you haven't said it together. So I may as well say it. Joseph Ruskin was in Murder, She Wrote.
I didn't know that.
Honestly, my next bit is my favourite bit. It's when Gowron rocks up and he's sat there in the chair and you're like, Gowron, yay! Because at first I was like, is that Gowron? And then he spoke and I was like, yeah, that's Gowron.
For the time being, it will be known as the House of
Quark.
Quark. The House of Quark.
The little interplay between them two is really, really good. What was it? I was loving the relationships in most of the scenes because most of them were two-handed, i.e. just two characters on screen.
Yeah.
And most of the time, and the interactions between the two characters, no matter who it was, whether it was Cisco and O'Brien and Keiko, Quark and Rom, Quark and Grilka. Quark and Grilka was probably my favourite pairing in that episode. Quark and Gowron, everything when there was just two people in the scene. I did enjoy those scenes. But I thought it was a great episode. I thought Gowron and he got down on Quark's level. He knelt down to Quark's height because Quark was already kneeling, and he knelt down to say, "You are a brave Ferengi and everything." I thought, yes, Gowron. So he is a cool and wise and really good Chancellor, and it's a shame what happens to him in the end, really. But
I thought that. again, it could be forgotten this episode, but Gowron shows wisdom, benevolence.
Yeah.
He shows, it's like that, you know, the wisdom of Solomon, that kind of thing, the man in judgment. And that kind of biblical narrative really come through here. You know, the guy that's got to decide what courage really is and what bravery really is. And again, Gowron played a blind. This episode wouldn't have been the same without him.
And the way he spoke to Grilka at the end as well was really lovely. When Gowron spoke to Grilka at the end.
Yeah.
Keeper of health. That was really nice. He was really good there as well.
Yeah, no, I agree totally.
But yeah, on the whole, you know, when Kate Carr and O'Brien are all happy again at the end, and he's like, "Go be a botanist, go be the best botanist," and it was like, well, they've come full circle. They're happy again. Quark's got his bar back, and he's got his respect and his reputation now. And you know, it was a very happy ending. I thought a very smooshy ending.
He's absolutely smashed it with a description. That's pretty much all the points I had, to be honest with you, which is,
I'm
you know,
sorry. Oh.
No, that's good. Now you've been nice, and I can't take the piss now. I was going to say, which makes a change, because normally I'm like, what episode was D watching?
Usually talking about different episodes.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great episode. The one thing that did come over me was the subplot wasn't really needed very much, was it? I don't think.
There is a reason.
You know, I remember watching this with Francesca, and she was like, "Oh, I hate this bit." And it's like, I was like, it's just a bit of world building, you know, to say that they have relationships too. And it's like, yeah, but we have that in real life. Like, if I wanted this, I'd just turn this off and argue with you. And I was like, so I wasn't a great lover of that. But yeah, my biggest takeaway is, well, plot devices are fantastic sometimes, aren't they? Sometimes someone goes missing for 10 seconds and the computer goes, person is no longer on the station, but Quark goes missing randomly after he's killed somebody. No mind.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Also,
I didn't write this,
in
but
Latinum, when he beams up, all the Latinums laying across the bar and across the deck, and I think that's probably why Ram or all the Ferengis that work there didn't report it, because they come into work the next day and just cleaned him out. And when he got back, they'd be like, "What Latinum? Didn't see no Latinum."
The one other thing that's a plot device totally is, and nobody else could have like accidentally killed that Klingon and helped Grilka. It could only have been Quark that could have done that, because it all came down to finances and crap like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and no one in Starfleet could have been, as you say, kidnapped and not been noticed. So it had to be, and it couldn't have been Garak, because it just wouldn't have worked. It had to be Quark.
I think
Garak
it'd work quite well with Garak.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd love to see Garak, yeah.
He'd have just schemed, and next thing you know, Garak's the Emperor. Or the
I think Garak would have tried to fight though. He wouldn't have just thrown his bat left down. He would have had a go, I think.
I don't think the other guy would have made it to the room. I think his like car or shuttle would have exploded.
He would have made some scathing remarks that got to him later on.
Oh yeah. Some cutting remarks out of it, yeah. I remember
But
that.
we'll live with them for the rest of their lives.
I love Quark episodes and I love Garak episodes, which is interesting because they're in relatively few episodes. Obviously, Quark's in more, and they are some of the more beloved episodes, which makes you wonder. You know, quantity over quality is not always better.
I think it's also because it does show, you know, that different aspect to it. We're used to the regular episodes. You'd never get them in TNG and stuff like that. But with these ones, they've got amazing side characters that could just go, oh, we can go off and do something totally different to these. It crazily brings humor to Klingons, which we don't see often. Klingons never really have any humor, or if it is, it's just very slight. But this whole episode, they brought that in really well. I think even using the Klingons in that way. Gowron and you know, reading the reports and all that kind of thing.
Gowron just believes Quark as well. He says, look, I want to hear any more of this Ledger shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you, Ferengi. And he goes to the Klingon and said, you behaved like, no offense, mate, but like a filthy Ferengi. That's what you did. And the Ferengi found you out. And I thought, I
think where you say you didn't have a moral from it, if you look from a Klingon perspective, you might have found it because it was dealing with their culture.
What you said about the Klingons and how they were judging Quark, I believe there's a famous quote by Isaac Newton: if you judge a Ferengi on his ability to hold a bat'leth, he will live his entire life believing he's stupid. The actual quote is, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life feeling stupid. Same principle. So I guess there is kind of a moral.
Yeah,
I think there was, but I get what you were saying, Patches. There isn't. It's not that very clear cut. Here's the lesson from today's episode, sort of thing.
Yeah. They didn't.
No, what did we learn to do, children?
Yes.
Yeah. There wasn't. That
No one's
laugh,
virtuous,
like
are they?
you said. In the original series, Bones, Spock, Kirk, they will sit there, they'll have a laugh, and they'll go, "Yeah, we showed those bastards today, and we stuck to our guns, and we won because we're true to our morals, and we didn't judge too harshly and all that. And maybe we are the bad guys sometimes. We need to be conscious of that." There was none of that, really, and
through the power of friendship, we can do anything.
Yeah. So what I did was,
Who's that?
Just a friend.
You've made a new friend. Friend? Oh, friend. Friend.
But I do like the episode. I really like the fact that he doesn't try to escape. I've got so bored of escape episodes. It is one of my favourites, and it's interesting that Christian says it's not one you jump to as DS9 as one of your favourite episodes. It probably is for me because it's different. And I think one of DS9's huge strengths is because it's not on a ship and they don't go places, they do just through alternative characters that you don't get on other Trek series.
I like that,
and I think that's one of its
When you say
massive
it's one
strengths.
episode, like, so if we said your favourite Deep Space Nine episodes, is that one that just pops to mind? Yeah.
It wasn't, but it is now.
That's what
after
I think.
every
That's
watch.
what we were saying.
Yeah.
It is a really good. I think we all agree it is a really good episode. It's just one that's easy not to think of when people are talking about good episodes. You know.
yeah, it doesn't advance the story. It doesn't advance anyone Quark massively. Maybe Quark, but he's a side character. In the,
Well, he's
in the whole
to be fair,
Starfleet thing.
Quark is a main character of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, but in the whole Starfleet thing, and they're trying to make a rather than episodic, they're trying to serialize it.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
trying to have these long things. This doesn't do any of that.
It was almost a reset episode because again, it doesn't follow through. Actually, it does because Grilka comes back, but Quark's character, for instance, doesn't. It just resets to what we know.
Yeah.
Worf's not in it yet, is he? He didn't come in it till is it next season?
Season 4.
Season 4, yeah.
It's the reboot episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Danny
don't
North.
see that.
Well,
People get really
the fact
upset.
that it's
What do you
Like,
mean reboot?
Kristen, we're on about season 4, episode 1. It feels like it's not an actual, but it feels like a reboot DS9 because Cisco, he looks different. He's got his beard and his bald and everything. It just feels different. There's something about the season 1 of episode 1 of season 4. It's a double episode, well, feature length, and it just feel like all of a sudden there's been a decision made to just refresh DS9 in some way. And it's got a different
Well,
element to it.
they did same as Voyager in season 4. They did because ratings weren't great and they realized they had to do something, so they brought Worf in, and it just felt as well. It elevated. Everything was elevated, not just because Worf was there, but everything was elevated.
The other thing that annoyed me about this episode actually is it wasn't very Quark of him. I'd have tried to, in my head, he just stayed the head. He'd have tried to manipulate it so he had money out of that, or money and power, or something, and he didn't do anything. He didn't get anything.
Yeah, there's pressure on him to act in that way, in that thieving way. But the truth is, he is, underneath it all, he's quite a virtuous, quite a moral person, which is in real conflict to
That's
aspects
why
of
he is
Ferengi life.
That's
why it's interesting.
He's broke because of it.
Yeah.
All the other Ferengis laugh at him. They've got moons. His cousin Galar's got a moon and all of that lot. And he's constantly whinging about how broke he is because he keeps doing the right thing, the moral thing.
Yeah, but overall, it's a great episode of DS9, isn't it? I mean,
I think it's a strong episode. I do. It like I say, it might have a bit of a filler element to it, but I do think it's one I would definitely recommend.
I haven't got really much to add because everyone's really said it. I just love any Ferengi episode with Quark in it. You know you're going to get a belt of an episode with them in it. Anything with Ferengi on their own, just being Ferengi. I think I wish Star Trek did do more series with just standalone aliens, and that's why I love the Ferengi ones, because you're not in any kind of Federation Prime Directive. It's just about what these characters are going to do in that situation. And bear in mind, they are aliens, so they're going to have their own quirks and ways of doing things. There's some great lines from Quark, as you expect, as always. Gowron's little scene where he's trying to figure out the Excel spreadsheet. It's just so funny. But the thing is,
his eyes.
But
You can't do
smack bang in the middle of the Dominion War, and it doesn't feel like a wasted episode. I don't think it's a throwaway episode. I think it's a really nice.
Yeah, it
break.
is. Yeah.
It's a break of an episode. It means something. It means something because you're more invested with Quark, and Quark and Odo episodes are fantastic, but it didn't need Odo in this one. Didn't need him at all. Quark can hold his own. So yeah, that's all I got to really say about it.
I haven't done any homework. I haven't seen that
You haven't
episode.
got married. You haven't got that good of an excuse.
Listen, I haven't got access to Deep Space Nine episodes, and because I'm going to be like Steve now, I don't like Deep Space Nine, so I'm not paying for them. No, but I just don't like it. I've never got into it, apart from the anniversary one where they did the Trouble with Dribbles episode, whatever.
Is it because it's not on a ship? Is it because it's not on a ship, Emma?
I
Really interested.
don't know. It's just I started watching it the first probably 5 or 6 episodes. I just can't get into. I don't like the characters.
You know,
I think Voyager is more geared towards women. I think it's got more of a romantic kind of element to it, and I like that.
I think it's also just typical like episode of the week Star Trek that you used to, whereas Deep Space Nine expanded that massively.
So Voyager and Deep Space Nine are 2 of my favourite seasons. I think they're very similar.
I love Voyager, but I'm with Ken. I do love Enterprise as well.
Yeah.
There's no hope. I'm sorry, there's just no hope.
No, I love it. Come on, you all know. My love
I'll
for
try.
Trip.
I'll keep trying.
My love for Trip. Trip is my baby reindeer, man. I love Trip, and that's it. I'm all for the aesthetics. I like to see things that are appealing. Fuck the storylines. I couldn't give a fuck, really. I just like to see.
Oh my!
So that's what it was. Klingons are not attractive. Ferengi are not attractive.
Listen, there's always got to be somebody in the group that is really fucking superficial. Now, like it's here, it's me, and that's just no. Do you know what? I'm lying. Actually, I do like loads of stuff about Star Trek. Just Deep Space Nine, I just can't. Never got into it. I couldn't.
The more I've been doing these podcasts with you guys and looking at DS9 episodes, I am actually coming to the realization that I think DS9 is my favourite now.
Woo! Come on!
No, we at the MCon the weekend. I think Christian was with us at the time. A woman came up to us and she was chatting to us, and she didn't recognise the Lower Decks costumes, and we saw it's from the newer series. And she said, "What's your favourite series?" And I think all us three said Deep Space Nine. But I think I said the same thing to her. Normally, when people ask me what's your favourite series, my default answer is kind of, it's TNG, because that's it's what I fell in love with. And when I watch it, it's the one that gives me the Trek tingle the most. But Deep Space Nine, now I'm watching the episodes, I'm like, well, I genuinely think that it offers the most.
It's a richer story.
I say this time and time again, so I'm not going into details. TNG, only 2 characters got actual proper character development. That's Picard and Data. The rest, the only reason they did, because it went on for so long. And Worf, I'll throw Worf into that. Whereas with Deep Space Nine, every single character, even ones that don't appear in it that often, each one of them got a backstory, they've got a history, they've got a personality, they've got more depth to them. Right, Christian, I hate to put you on the spot, but I can ask you a question. We do, it's not a tradition by any stretch of the imagination, but we tend to, when people join the group for the first time on one of the calls, we often ask them what their kind of, I suppose, I hate to use the term journey, Star Trek journey is. How did you get into it? Because sometimes, obviously there's a lot of Star Trek, so sometimes people haven't seen it all, they've only seen bits, so it's just interesting to see what got you into it.
So, I grew up a Star Wars kid, 100%. I was shown Star Wars at a very, very, very young age, and Star Wars is what I stuck with. And as I was growing up, I got introduced to this wonderful thing called the internet. And the internet convinced me, because I had watched Star Wars, it was illegal if I watched Star Trek. And so I just never did. And then come lockdown, so 2020, I think it was Discovery Season 3 was airing at the time. And my uncle, who's actually the one who got me into Star Wars, messaged me because he tried to get me into Star Trek a few times before and I just refused. And he said, look, it's lockdown. You literally have nothing to do. They're releasing this brand new season of Star Trek. And my other complaint about watching Star Trek, because he had tried to get me to do it before, was I looked at the release dates and went, yeah, the CGI is going to be crap. I'm not watching that. And he said, well, Discovery, literally coming out right now. So CGI, brand new, can't complain about that. Obviously, I know now Enterprise is before it, but he told me Discovery was first chronologically. And it's not like there are any links between Enterprise and Discovery, so I didn't miss anything out there. So that's what I did. I started with Discovery. I watched seasons 1, 2, 3. And then, as I said, it was lockdown. It took me 6 months to watch everything. I watched 60 years worth of Star Trek in 6 months.
That's good.
Oh my God.
So I went in chronological order. So from Discovery, I went straight back to the original series. I loved it. Like, there's this one episode. I'm not like you guys. I can't give you episode names off the top of my head. But there's this one episode in the original series where they go down to a planet, and the main plot of the episode is a transporter malfunction that makes an evil Kirk. But as like a prelude to that, they show it happening with an alien that they beam up. That alien, and this has stuck in my mind forever, is a dog in a onesie with a unicorn horn. It is very clearly a dog in a onesie with a unicorn horn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can I impress Brush? The enemy within.
Well done, Daniel.
Sorry, go on, Christian.
He's so proud.
I enjoyed the original series. I enjoyed TNG. But then I got to DS9, and DS9 is what kicked it off for me. Because the thing is, now obviously this is probably a generation thing, because I spoke to my uncle about it. Growing up, I expect structure in my TV shows. I expect episode 1 to lead into episode 2, to lead into episode 3, to build up for a finale. And I spoke to my uncle about this, and I said, well, why don't they do this in Star Trek? They did it in Discovery. Obviously, Discovery's the newest, so that's a dumb argument to make. But and he said, well, because when they released this, you couldn't record. You couldn't ask your fans to watch every episode, because if they miss one, they can't go back and watch it. It's gone. And so I understand that, but because of that, I didn't really connect with original series or TNG, just because it was like, well, this isn't the storytelling I like. Like, I enjoyed the episodes, and there are some that really stand out to me and I really, really love, but just as series, they never really stuck for me. Versus then we get to Deep Space Nine, and by season 4, it really gets into, right, we're, one big story from now until season 7, we're doing it. And so DS9 is my favorite, although Discovery got me into it. And then Voyager, it's different, but it's similar, where DS9 is very plot driven, Voyager is very character driven. And so I could appreciate that, because it's the same sort of thing. It's building and building and building, just instead of, oh, there are aliens attacking us, it's, and what will happen with these two characters next week? Well, as people have said about Quark in this story, and as I thought with TOS and TNG, it could be like, wow, we went through these life-changing things next week. No, that didn't happen.
The thing is that you've, obviously, the difference between your generation and ours is that you've grown up with streaming and binge watching and Google and, instant access to the internet all the time, whereas when we were growing up, we had to wait every week for that episode.
Well, I've been
doing
it.
Speak for yourself, Steve. Speak for yourself. I had
Shut up, John Doe. You're as old as the rest of us. Behave yourself.
It's just TV has changed, isn't it? So the reason as well. So TNG was released as a franchise, and stations in America had to buy it.
Yeah.
But the stations did not want to have to show every episode in order, which is why TV at the time used to be made as one-off episodes and then a reset. It was easier for them to be able to sell that to stations, because they wouldn't buy them all. They might just buy the best ones. And they just showed them in all higgledy-piggledy order, but that allowed you to just watch it and enjoy it, because it's like one episode and now move on. Okay. But TV has changed.
I mean, the thing I obviously did differently to you was, as I said, I watched 60 years in 6 months. I didn't have to wait a week between episodes and then a year between seasons. I went, I want to watch the next episode. Fine. I sit down, lose track of time. Oh, I'm 2 seasons later. Or, I'm on the next show, am I? It all just kind of flows and merges into one, which might be why I don't have, like, I've been honestly impressed with sitting with you, and you're like, and this character appears in this episode, and this episode. I can't do that, because to me, it's just Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
It's one Deep Space Nine.
And also, like you said, you've watched them once. No, literally, I can tell you, most of us, I've watched episodes 10, 20, 30, 40 times.
I still am. I literally, like I said, my lunch break, I sit in the car and I watch Trek, and I just cycle through all the episodes repeatedly. Good man.
I'm a bit younger than some of these, and no. I mean, I sort of mean with the technology. Because some of you had VHSs, didn't you? And I grew up with
I recorded everything.
I did have Sky, when I watched Enterprise,
unlike Rishi
So
Sunak.
rich, so rich. Oh, yes,
I saw that.
You're posh.
TOS is not something I'm ever going to rush to rewatch. Like, if you choose the episode of the week as a TOS one, I will obviously go and watch it. But it's not, there are a lot of shows that I would consider rewatching. TOS is not one of them.
Yeah, same for me, to be honest. I only watch them on the episode. Occasionally I will go back, but it's when we pick an episode, that's when I go watch it as well.
Star Trek's always been the science fan or the engineer's TV program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. It's we're talking about theoretical physics here, but if you know anything about theoretical physics, if you follow anything, if you watch the Royal Institute's YouTube channel and you're keeping up to date with what they're finding with James Webb, and you're keeping up to date with how astrophysics links to quantum physics on a fundamental level, and you can hear little snippets of this, and all right, the only way you're going to get to warp speed is to bend space, and you can bend space with gravity, basically. Now, these are fundamental principles of physics, and we know this to be true, and although it's soft sci-fi, it's still grounded in the what ifs with what we know. Spore drives is tantamount to fantasy for me.
He's not wrong.
It's crap. This spore drive is crap.
See, I told you, I was looking
In
at
20, 30 years, when the mushroom people come to this planet and they demand 1, Mario for eating all of them, and 2, you for dissing their network, we will hand you over. Like, I obviously haven't done one of these chats before and I didn't entirely know what to expect. And the depth that you guys examine the episodes, Jesus Christ. I wasn't expecting that. It's like, you were like, right, I've brought my notebook. Oh, I was meant to make notes. I watched the episode.
It's entirely up to you. Not everybody.
I don't make.
I never make notes. Never. Well,
funny up here.
No, I don't think I ever really make.
Steve just remembers what he hates the most.
Yeah. So my format is literally watch it at lunchtime on a Thursday, then rock up, say I don't like it, say why I don't like it, wait till everybody tells me I'm wrong, and then we move on.
I don't keep notes. I just have an aid memoir.
An E4 pad every episode.
Did you have a birthday?
Bonnet de douche, Rodney. Bonnet de douche.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Oh,
We'll sing.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
No,
Are we going to have a
happy
birthday?
Oh my God! Deaf Man's Choir.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Now we have to stop, because the dog is going nuts. He hates that song.
Oh my.
Oh,
all right,
my.
so Christian, oh my. This is a section I do, and it's just getting facts or little bits of information you might not know. Some of them are interesting.
Some of them aren't.
Oh, shut your mouth. Okay, so a few of you have said about Keiko leaving and all that, and it was a plot device. So they actually chose to write Keiko out for 6 months so that they could go and explore the Bashir O'Brien relationship. Oh yeah, it's the first episode where we see them socialize, it says, which I was a bit surprised at. But their other interactions are not social usually, and this was a social setting. And when Keiko leaves for the 6 months, we all know this, it happens a lot, doesn't it? Their relationship does blossom, and they're on the holodeck all the time, and they're not looking forward to her coming back. Next one. So, Gowron, this is his first appearance in Deep Space Nine, and I was surprised at that as well.
Is it?
Oh my!
What's the Klingon one where he comes to with Martok to the station? Is that not early?
Well, that's
later.
Worf. That's when Worf comes in.
It is,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also the only episode that Gowron appears in without Worf. Every other episode, Worf is in the episode.
Oh wow, that's a cool.
Really? Oh wow!
In Deep Space Nine. This is just a bit of a joke. Ira Stephen Bear. So he jokes. Ron Moore writes all the Klingon episodes, does them really well. And he said Ron Moore and Gowron have never been seen together. So he believes Ron Moore is Gowron. Stephen Hawkins visited the set during this episode, and it wasn't expected. So Quark said, just turned round and there's Stephen Hawkins, and he classes it as one of his favourite moments in his life because he had a photo with him, and so he really loved that. Tom
I wish I
Benko.
could just turn up to film sets and people would just be like, oh yeah, that's cool.
This is the only episode of Star Trek scored by somebody called Richard Bellis. Don't know if that's important or not. I know Dan likes his music scores. Tom Benko, who is credited with the stories, or write the story, is the only person to have written, directed, and edited a Star Trek. This is the only Deep Space Nine episode to have scenes on Kronos, which you wouldn't have thought, because the Klingons are in this a lot, but they never go to the Klingon homeworld.
It's actually very rare that Kronos, you do actually end up on Kronos.
It is,
Yeah.
actually.
TNG a couple of times, quite a lot.
But because Deep Space Nine had the Klingon presence, real high Klingon presence, didn't they? You know, so I thought it was quite interesting. So the lady who played Grilka,
Mary Kay Adams. Quark
actually, well, Armin Shimmerman specifically went and took her aside because she'd been cast as the Klingon.
Oh my!
Never done had full makeup on. And it is a process. And so he took her aside and explained it to her and said, during this process, you're going to go through a lot of emotions. You're going to lose yourself. It might get you confused. You might get upset while it's happening. And so he really, really was there for her. And she's come out, like she said afterwards, his kindness on set and his knowledge about having to go through that process was amazing. She said that she was really grateful.
That's fine.
And that's my oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
There's nothing wrong with this. All right, I love all Trek. I just love it.
Yeah, me too, mate.
Even the ones that I call the crap, I love them. I'm like Dan, I love it all. Even, I'm sorry to say this, the J.J. Abrams films, because we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
We had nothing.
Jed, it's your birthday. Don't make me shout.
Is that leave J.J. alone. Those films are all right.
I don't care.
Is that the Into Darkness stuff?
But,
yeah.
Not seen them.
Shite.
Oh, you should. They're really good.
No, to be honest, when they came out, I went to the cinema and I liked them. But now I'm rewatching. Yeah, they failed.
I've got a controversy. Todd, the original series, I just think that's the framework. The canon was made from the films. Todd's was just Todd. So I keep them separate because I regard the movies as introducing the canon, introducing the Klingons as they are. But that's different people are different, you know. This episode, I love this episode. Like everyone else, I love Quark. I love all Quark's episodes. They're funny, they're hilarious. I can't say much about this, but what made me laugh the most is when Quark was in in the room with the rest of the Klingons, and they're all looking at these pads and pressing it. And it just reminded me of me trying to teach my mum and dad how to use a fucking remote doing Sky. It just, what are you talking about? That? Or my mum doing WhatsApp when she's talking to me like that. Hiya, son. There's not really a lot. As Patches talked, yeah.
Patches was
It's very short. Shortest ever. I'm a bit worried about it.
You talk short. You talk short.
Yeah.
Really
short.
It is my birthday. Love you, Patches. That is a great episode. Everyone said about it. It's a brilliant episode. I love this one. I love the follow-on one as well.
I saw at a truck stop a really terrible painting of Leonard Nimoy as Spock on the wall in this service station, and it was Jenna that spotted it, and it is really bad. I took a picture of it. I'm going to have to upload it.
Oh, please, yeah. Definitely share that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Okay, don't worry about that. Carry on. Just carry on.
No, don't get me on the tangent, or I'll lose.
You can see the confusion on your face.
process.